Yes, hi. So this is my first ever attempt at a YouTube video. Hoping that sound and audio is good for all of you guys. So I'm making this particularly for people who may be browsing through the internet and going through videos of Isha Foundation or Sadhguru. It's there on so many social media sites now, or they may have heard it from one of their friends, family, or colleagues that somebody went through a program. So, so this video is primarily for these people. So if you're one of these kinds who's just looking at this opportunity or this option, this is my take of in engineering. So I did my program uh, in December 2015. And how I got to know about this program is actually quite funny. I didn't know anything about Isha Foundation or Sadhguru or anything. But I used to, so I'm a dentist by profession, specializing in implantology and prosthodontics. And my previous boss, he used to have his clinic on top of his house. So, and he had a very attractive library in his house. So, whenever I was free, I used to go down and just browse through his library. So, this one day I found this book called Three Truths of Well-Being. Mm. Yeah, it had Sadhguru's photo. At that point of time, I didn't know who this person was. It's intriguing. The title itself was a little catchy. Was wondering why would somebody want to describe truth or well-being. I mean, we know how we are happy and satisfied and things like those. But anyhow, the person on the photograph, he had some kind of honesty in his eyes or clarity in his eyes, which I thought that okay, let's just see what this person is saying. So I took that book and yeah, I was going through it. Uh, it was a it was an opening towards this dimension of it didn't talk about yoga or meditation per se, but just introspection. There were little simple points or tips that you can experiment with in your life and just see how it works. And just using those little experiments, I was, beginning to see that there is something more uh, to life than what I can think and feel through my brain and cerebral activity. So that was one, and then of course, yeah, it intrigued me, and I looked at it a little bit on the internet. Saw some ophthalmologists sharing on YouTube, which was also very inspiring because we almost shared the similar professional background, mm, and I could relate with him. But also the other aspect, now that I recollect, was that I had a compulsive habit of smoking. So somewhere morally, my mind wanted to quit it because everybody, and I have not seen my parents smoke, and by then I'd gotten married. My wife was strictly against somebody smoking in her house, in that sense. And I used to always lie to her very calmly and go and have a fag. So and also somewhere, I used to play a lot of sports. I've been into sports all throughout my life, and I could see that it is also impacting my physical abilities. But this habit I picked up in college, and I was not able to quit. I tried two, three times. Then again, one day, just going through YouTube, surfing, Sadhguru pops up on the YouTube, and somebody asks him a similar question about smoking, and it's a 5 6 minute video, and that just did it for me. I thought that okay, maybe the way he is saying these things, it appears to be really authentic. So uh, I just checked on their website. Back then there were no online programs, and luckily the next program was happening in another 10 odd days in my city. I hail from North India called Gurgaon. So I enrolled for it, not thinking much about it, and then just closer to the program, one one day a volunteer called me, oriented me that we should be there on time and things like those, whatever other details, and that's how it began. So yeah, it's kind of not that consciously I was searching for this kind of a journey of yoga meditation. I had never had anything like that in mind. Had a very normal childhood. Played around in my school, very cherishing memories of everything. College was also great. Had lots of fun, but somewhere now being doing these practices and following the path, I realized that there was something that I was constantly longing, because I can clearly see now that I had this habit of just getting compulsively attached to one thing. May it be uh, talking to somebody, may it be holding on to a relationship, may it be smoking, may it be eating, uh, may it be related to sexuality. It was just like I had this compulsive behavior in me, which used to suck joy out of me. Like I play golf, but till a certain point golf was for joy, but thereafter it became like a compulsive habit. If I don't play golf, I'll not feel good. So it was always an external dependency for my happiness. So yes, that's how it was. And also one more thing that I would like to share was during my post graduation was the first time I ever experienced depression, or what this could mean. I mean, I was very judgmental about people sharing about depression or anxiety or stress, uh, because somehow, somewhere within me, in the atmosphere I was in, it was not normal to discuss these things, or it was seen as a weakness in character, that your mind is not strong enough, that's why you're falling into these kind of situations. But I faced it. I was doing my post graduation, and my thesis was going on. After a great effort, it started. I had quite a teacher, uh, my guide, and I'm thankful to him, because of him I could see so much more in life. I didn't feel like this that way about him. So mm, this happened, and he left in between. First of all, to start the thesis itself, he was making life quite difficult. He was just trying to push me more and more and more, and I was not ready. So I was frustrated, anxious, had so many other plans about post graduation, but here I was, and none of my plans were working. And suddenly, in between, one day he decides to move out of the country, leaves the college, and I've taken up a subject of which I have no clue. I'm totally dependent on him, and now I don't know what's going to happen. And then suddenly my seniors exams were happening, and I just saw them take the exam, and I realized that, man, I am just not prepared for the exam. There was some kind of reality that sunk in, that just broke me totally. I thought that I'm not going to be able to clear. But these kind of feelings had happened in school also, but this time around it sunk in way deeper. As in, I started realizing that, my mind started telling me that I was not even fit for life. I don't know what chemical changes had happened or things like those, but the system was completely broken. I was not able to sleep for almost about a week. I was just not getting sleep, just lying there and thinking what is going to happen, how I'm going to deal with it. I was just not finding any space between me and my mind. It was just strangulating me, to a point that one day in the night I was just sweating, and I stood up on the balcony, ninth floor, really thinking to make the jump, but of course didn't have the courage. But yes, that thought really was very strong on that night. So next few days, my parents took me to the psychiatrist. He offered me some pills which were very strong. One day I fainted with them, and then slowly I came out of that. But that was my first real experience of seeing how the mind shatters and what is there beyond the mind, or just realizing that mind itself is not life. I mean, there's something much more to what the mind is telling you, that is life. I don't know if I'm articulating it properly. So anyhow, all these things got me together to go through the inner engineering program, and today marks the sixth year of me, doing these practices regularly. So in an engineering, we are initiated into a very powerful kriya called as Shambhavi Mahamudra. So what have been the changes in me? It is just uh, been very very subtle, uh, but very very long lasting. I would say. Uh, I mean, there were so many people with me who did in engineering, but now that I am involved with offering these programs to other people, like as a volunteer, because I've seen it impact my life so much. It's not that everybody gets transformed. Let me be very honest. It's only how deeply and how willingly you are willing to go through that program and make it a part of your life. So those different tools that will be offered to you, how dedicated are you to kind of make it happen for you? But once you use them, without doubt, they work. This is absolutely from my authentic experience. Within a week of getting initiated, I had absolutely stopped smoking, stopped drinking. Not that I got fed up of drinking, but the body was clearly seeing, the awareness was clearly seeing that these products are not giving me any high. In fact, they're sucking the joy out of my life and sucking the awareness out of me. So that happened. Uh, Psychologically, things which used to turmoil me, or I used to get pressurized by some people with whom I never had a great equation, because I felt that they are not behaving the way they should be. All those kind of uh, irritations, agitations with people, with relationships, it ironed them out. It took time, but it's ironed out to a drastic level. A great a great example of this is um, somebody very close to me in my personal spheres. I had a lot of uh, discomfort, or I had a lot of irritation as soon as he used to get close to me, just because of the way he was. Somewhere I was not accepting him, and suddenly with these practices now, when I meet him, it's not that big a deal. I mean, I can have great conversations and still not feel turmoiled by these things. So I was very sensitive to these aspects about how people are behaving, how things are. But now it doesn't matter anymore. Not that I have become oblivious to it, but the sense of personhood or the ego has settled to such a drastic level that these little turbulences don't drain my energy off. Another thing is, in my profession, one needs to be very very creative, very good decision making, and also be able to deal with pain, sadness, and discomfort and exude joy. That has magnificently improved. My professional life has gone up amazingly. It's just unbelievable. Standing there 6 years ago, I could not believe that the kind of things that I am been able to do, I would be able to do so. Mm, Absolutely, it worked on the professional sphere. Coming to a personal life, I had just married, and then got initiated. And initially, before marriage, after marriage and before the program, little bit of things, were happening with the way I was and the way she was. We were trying to adjust, and there was irritation and agitation and things like those. And there were moments when I used to question whether I've done the right thing or not. But after the program and after the practices, it helped settle my energies and it helped settle my mind so much that automatically the level of friction in personal life has reduced. And I would not say friction, it's the kind of gratitude that has happened on a day-to-day moment-to-moment basis is just amazing. And when one starts living with that kind of gratitude, it just flowers. It was great that I did my program before I had a child, because I can totally see how my way of being is affecting her, and also making this relationship between a father and daughter more beautiful. So, it has been great. Uh, what else? Yeah, I mean, I had nasal allergies. I had other medical issues. I was 74 kgs when I before I did the program. Weight got lost. Steroid use because of allergies, it's totally settled. So uh, like for me it's been a magic pill because the level of anger, anxiety, irritation, holding on to past and future, all of those have cleared out so drastically. I would say uh, almost whatever Sadhguru has mentioned, or the brochures or the videos on the website have mentioned about inner engineering, have actually happened in my life. So in that sense, there's a long way to go for me as well. There are so many things that I'm discovering each and every day, but life has totally transformed in the sense that the way I experience every moment is very different than what I used to do before. And also with the practices, the kind of thought patterns that get generated uh, are aligned very differently. They are not fluctuating, they are not negative, they are not more sarcastic, they are just more grounded and more centered, uh, more profound. So if you are somebody who's looking at inner engineering, do not think that just because it happened to somebody, it's going to happen to me also. The two things that I would say are very, very necessary when you take up the program is one is your willingness and openness. Uh, and also with willingness, I mean, I didn't know that I was willing. I just went through the program. The program itself is structured in such a way that it just uh, took me in its arms. So just keeping yourself a little open and just not concluding about every step very early, that is the key. Second, of course, is commitment, being dedicated and honest to yourself that if somebody has given you something which he is telling you it'll work, and you're seeing so many other people saying good things about it, then why not give it your best shot and see whether it works or not. So all the best to you. I'll try to put the link of the program and maybe a photograph of before and after me, so that well, physically you can't make out the difference, but whatever you can, you can. Thank you so much. Namaskaram.